I'm Bob Massi. For 34 years, I've been practicing law and living in Las Vegas, the center of the recent real estate crisis. Lives were destroyed from coast to coast as the economy tanked. Now, well, it's a different story. The American dream is back. And nowhere is that more clear than the Sunshine State of Florida. So we headed from the Strip to the beach to show you how to live the American dream. I'm going to meet real people who are facing serious problems, take you behind the gates of properties you have to see to believe, and give you the tips that everyone needs to navigate the new landscape, because information is power, and the property man has got you covered. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bob Massi. In just a few minutes, I'm going to show you how crowdfunding is changing the game for people who want to flip and fix properties. But first, the one topic I seem to get the most emails about, timeshares, and what you do once you no longer want to use them.
The majority of timeshares in the U.S. are perpetually deeded, which means for life, but that also means your kid's life. If you're done using it, you can't just stop paying for it. You have to find a legitimate way out of the timeshare.
As many people have found, selling your timeshare, it's not easy, and there are a lot of scam artists out there. The Better Business Bureau has listed the timeshare resale market as one of the top 10 scams in the country. At Magical Realty in Orlando, timeshare resales is all they do, and they've seen every scam in the book.
If anybody's trying to charge you more than $100 to advertise your timeshare, already it's a huge red flag. There's a lot of companies that they'll ask for $600, $800, $1,000, $2,000 to advertise your timeshare. Waste of money.
Marketing companies will take your money to list your timeshare on their website, where it will sit forever. Or worse, some other scammer will see the listing and call you, pretending they have a buyer.
They'll tell you, I have a buyer for your timeshare for $27,000. All you have to do is pay an upfront title fee or an upfront closing cost.
Send me $1,000 for taxes or appraisals.
And as soon as you pay them that money, guess what? There never was a buyer.
Send them $1,000 and never hear from them again.
The bottom line, Bob, all of these cases, if something sounds too good to be true, it usually is.
Always beware of any telemarketer who calls out of the blue, saying your property is in a hot area or they have a buyer who's interested.
If you get cold called, that's a pretty good indication that it's a scam. These scam artists will just buy a list of timeshare owners and just dial all day long.
In vacation states like Florida and Nevada, state officials spend a lot of time prosecuting timeshare fraud.
We've passed the Timeshare Accountability Resale Act. We have put out of business approximately 41 fraudulent businesses.
You're not saying timeshares are bad. You're just saying beware when you get a timeshare.
Bob, we actually worked with the timeshare industry to pass this legislation. We brought them in and they were thrilled because we're helping all of our great legitimate timeshares.
Do not allow someone to pressure you into anything. Take your time and investigate any company you're going to work with.
Magical Realty or Licensed Timeshare Resale Brokers Association has a list of approved brokers that can help people sell their timeshares. These are realtors that only specialize in timeshares.
Check with the Better Business Bureau and the State Attorney General's office again for the state the company is listed in.
Timeshare Specialists is a full timeshare company that takes timeshares through liquidation.
A lot of our options are guaranteed. If we take on your ownership, you won't ever pay another fee.
The sad reality is that the resale value of a timeshare is not going to be anything close to what you paid for it.
If a person selling your timeshare tells you it's a great investment, that's a huge red flag.
The majority of timeshares resold on the resale market have a resale value of less than 10% of what the developer charges for them.
Sadly, sometimes a timeshare is in such low demand that it's nearly worthless.
Unfortunately, there are some that we are unable to sell as well.
If it's something that I might not be able to sell for them, I tell them, look, have you spoken to friends and family about giving it to them as a gift? Have you thought about contacting the developer?
Try calling the resort or developer to see if they would accept a quitclaim deed to take the property back.
Some developers will actually take it back. All you have to do is pay them the closing costs of $400 and you're done with it. There are people who say, can you sell my timeshare for me? Their timeshare might only sell for $1,000, but they still owe $20,000 on a loan. That's where they might consider Googling and contacting cancellation attorneys that all they do is they get people out of the timeshare, they get the developer to forgive the debt, and it just goes away. It doesn't affect their credit. Those attorneys are a little pricey, but they do work.
If worse comes to worse, guys, you could always just stop paying.
I don't recommend them doing this, but another option that some people have done is just walked away from their timeshares.
But, just like with a house, your credit could be damaged. You need to get advice about that before you do it.
Walking away is really hurting the industry because what that causes to happen is the resorts have to go through a foreclosure process. It increases the maintenance fees for the remaining owners at the resort.
Timeshares are great, but it only works for people who actually use them.
Timeshares get a bad rap in the press, which is unfortunate, but the majority of people who own timeshares are very happy with them. At some point, you'll need an end game and how to get rid of it.
I've got lots more information on unloading timeshares on our website, foxnews.com/propertyman. And we've got even more tips coming up at the end of the show in the Massi Memo. But up next, I've told you about crowdfunding and the impact it's having on real estate. Now flippers are using it to buy, fix, and flip properties. We'll meet some next.